We live in a fast-paced and hectic world where it's easy to feel overwhelmed, stressed, and out of control. How do you manage all the competing pressures without losing sense of yourself? How do you stay focused enough to not only plot a path, but follow it? Welcome to Master Your Life, a show that offers inspiration, insight, and intelligence, as well as success stories from many walks of life that can show you how you can control your own destiny. Our knowledgeable and entertaining host and her guests give practical advice that you can use every day in the quest to master your life. Now, here's your host, Leaha Mattinson.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's show. I'm so glad that you've been able to tune in from wherever it is that you are on this beautiful planet. I'm host Leaha Mattinson, and this week it's my absolute delight and pleasure to bring people from my home province, Alberta, Canada. And so this beautiful group was introduced to me through a mutual friend, 𝙇𝙞𝙩𝙩𝙡𝙚 Sands. So I'm going to do a little shout out to 𝙇𝙞𝙩. He does all this wonderful production behind the scenes, and he's been working with me for 7 years now. So the guests today are people that he, in a very brief call, said, "Oh, I've got these friends that are over touring in the UK right now that you've got to meet." And because they're amazing musicians. And so I couldn't wait to actually get on a call with Suzanne and Craig. Now, Suzanne and Craig's music, I'm going to do a little actual proper intro to them this morning. I know often I just riff, but I don't want to miss any of the important points about Suzanne and Craig. So Suzanne and Craig's are Canada roots swing duo Over the Moon are totally immersed in real cowboy country. When you set up home in the foothills of Alberta's Rocky Mountains, it's inevitable that there will be a strong sense of place and the rhythms of the land when you start to play music. Their music is a wild ride, from 40s Western swing to Appalachian old time to cowboy blues, and featuring their meant-to-be vocals and a wide array of acoustic instruments. Suzanne Levesque and Craig Bignell are award-winning multi-instrumentalist. Oh, there's a long word. They play a lot of instruments. Okay, it's 7 a.m. here, folks. Instrumentalists and vocals that have, yes, there you go, that have spent most of their lives as studio and live performance musicians for other artists. After discovering their near perfect blend of voices, often moving people to tears upon hearing them sing together, they decided to try their own project, and Over the Moon was born. Yay, Over the Moon. Love it. Sweet and simple, their music and lyrics have a common thread that speaks of the Canadian West. So for those of you who would love to check them out, you can find out more about them at the overthemoonband.com. So that is their website. So check out their playing dates would probably be listed on there. Suzanne and Craig, welcome to the show today. So nice to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Nice to be here.
So let's talk about you and your band. What do you think? How did you guys get started together?
It's a funny story. I was living in Ontario, and my day job is that I'm a drummer percussionist, and I record drums and percussion for all kinds of people. And a lot of times I never meet them. And one day, a band that Sue used to play with called the Traveling Mabels hired me to put drums and percussion on their record, promote that by remote, you know what I mean? So I'd never met them, so I did that and sent them away and never thought anything of it. And then a few months later, I was in Calgary rehearsing for the Huron Carol with Tom Jackson, and they found out I was going to be in town, and they said, "Hey, we're doing our CD release party. Would you like to come and play with us on that night?" And I said, "Sure." And I went to the first rehearsal, and there was Suzanne, and I went, "Holy jumping, she's pretty nice." And that's how it all started, basically.
And she is pretty nice. So for those of you who are just tuning into the podcast, make sure that you come over and check out the video version of this on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, and or listen to it on masteryourlife.ca so that you can see their beautiful smiling faces and actually get a glimpse at what you're going to be in store for if you're lucky enough to catch them while they're in the UK. And so that's just a beautiful thing. So Suzanne, let's talk about what did you think about this guy when you first met him? It's like... Who's this guy? Drummer boy, little drummer boy.
Yeah. Oh, he was really sweet and shy and funny. He's very witty, which you'll probably find out throughout this interview. So yeah, we got along really well right off the beginning. We were always teasing each other and stuff like that. And so there was a connection there. And then at Tom Jackson's house, he had a dinner party, and our group was there, and Craig was there because he was rehearsing for the tour there. So, and we were having a little jam session at the end of the night kind of thing. And Tom said to Craig, "Okay, sing a song now with your guitar."
They were passing the guitar around, and everyone was taking turns singing. And at that point, I had never really sang a song by myself and played guitar. That was new to me. I was a drummer percussionist. I could play guitar, but so I started singing a song, and I was really afraid, and my voice was shaking. You know what I mean? I sounded like Buffy St. Marie. She has that vibrato, but I wasn't trying to have that. It was like shaking. And Suzanne felt sorry for me, and she got her bass and came over and started playing along with me and singing harmonies with me, and that was it for me. I was totally smitten.
Oh. I could hear everyone now going to their Google to check out Buffy St. Marie. It's like Buffy St. Marie.
Yeah. Surprising. We tell that story on stage, and everybody seems to know Buffy St. Marie here, which is fun. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And so where are you guys right now? What hotel room are you doing this interview from?
We're just outside of Birmingham.
Yeah, near Birmingham, England.
Yeah.
There's some
country hotel.
Yeah.
Outside there somewhere.
Somewhere
we don't
there.
really know.
This is what happens when you're touring often, I think, is that you're going, like you're so exhausted from traveling and being on foreign land that you don't necessarily know where you are, but you do know you're on the planet. So that's good. And for people who want to check out where you are, they can come and check out Earth. Yeah, they're still on Earth. That you come and check out right now and go to Suzanne and Craig's Over the Moon Facebook page so that you can get more information about exactly where they are on the tour, because you don't want to miss them. So how did you guys promote the tour to begin with? I'm curious, how did you get the fan base started over in the UK?
We use an agency here. Our PR guy over here, his name's Loudon Temple, and he has a company called Bloody Great PR, and it is really good. So he let people know about us. We released our record over here through him to do the PRs, and he did a good job. And then we're working with an agent here named JC Bedford, and she's the one who connects all these places and puts the tour together for us in England, Scotland, and Wales. And then the Irish people is a man named Andy Peters, and he's a great guy too. And at first he didn't have the shows together. He's going, the Irish are a little more relaxed. He's like, yeah, I'll get it together. Don't worry about it. And before we left, there was only like 2 dates. We were going, is this going to happen? And now, like, true to his word, we only have 1 day off the whole time we're there. So
love it. Love it. Love it. So again, don't miss it, guys. If you're, into, this kind of music, it's really going to be so much fun for them to be touring through the UK and to be in Ireland. I just think that's awesome. So let's pick up the story. You guys are sitting there. You've got your guitar in hand. Your lovely Suzanne has got her bass in hand, and you guys are singing together and kind of figuring that out. How long have you guys been in a band together, and what made you take the next steps?
Well, so we've been together as a couple for 11 years, I guess now. And then obviously, since we're both musical, we would start singing songs we liked together or whatever. And I was playing electric bass at that time. Craig always played banjo and guitar, but that's not his first instrument. So we've always had fun kind of jamming together at home. And then we started kind of writing some songs together. And then we thought we should start like doing our own thing, because we've always backed up other artists, but it was really scary. This is like 6 or 7 years ago.
Our
And
first show was in Turner Valley, where you probably know where that is.
I do.
And a lot of friends came, and Sue's mom came with her husband, and they did half the show, and then we did half. I don't think I was ever so afraid in my whole life. Like when we're drumming and playing electric bass, we play huge, big venues, and that's your job, and that you don't care. I mean, you care, but you're not afraid at all. That's just your job.
well, because the entertaining part and talking and telling stories is a huge part of, being in a group. I mean, you can just go and sing songs, but it's nice to hear some stories and we didn't have that down at all.
Yeah, we couldn't talk at all. We
never had to do that.
Shaking. And then Sue said after that first night in Turner Valley, she goes, "I'm not doing this again. We are not doing, because I can't talk on stage and neither can you."
That only lasted for a year.
So I promised her, I said, "Okay, I'll learn to talk. I promise I can do this." And now that's one of the things people like about us most is our stories and stuff. So
That's beautiful. So how did you overcome the fear? Like did you just continue to perform, or did you get some extra training or help? Or?
No, we just decided we'd be ourselves. We thought we'd treat our audiences like a bunch of friends coming over to our living room, and we just fool around and have fun, make fun of ourselves, and we tell stories, what happened that day or whatever. And we take our music really seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. We just become like their friends. And then it was easy for us because we just hang out with friends like we are with you now.
I think we really missed that over the last couple of years. So again, it's like, as people are able to I think it's so important to make hay while the sun shines, so to speak, and get out and see people performing while we can, and to really appreciate and have reverence for that special thing when you're connecting with an artist, a musician. I think that was the blessing, or the blessing maybe, of the last couple of years, is that people are more excited about getting out and engaging in their life. Are you guys finding that as you're on tour right now?
Oh yeah. A lot of people are especially some of the places we play, we stay with the host, like maybe the president and his wife of the folk club or whatever we're playing at. So we stay overnight with them. And a lot of times they haven't had any company for 2 years. So they just love to sit down and talk to us, like, and tell us their life story. It's pretty amazing sometimes, eh, Sue?
Yeah.
So let's go back 6 or 7 years and talk about sort of your first song that you did together that kind of got some traction with the audience. And, I know you've noticed you've got a few songs that have quite a few listeners, and you've got lots of people sort of going very interested in your songwriting and music making ability. So can you just talk about that and what people might hear, or what your songs are kind of about? Or that would be great for the audience who hasn't heard of you maybe yet.
Right. Mm-hmm. Our music, pretty much the stuff we write, and even the arrangements we come up with for songs that are cover songs for us, we try to give people a glimpse into what it's like to live where we do in the ranching community of southwestern Alberta. And we live a simple life there. And some of our songs are about that, just, simple things that a lot of people don't even notice anymore, but mean a great deal to us. You know what I mean? So we've written some songs specifically about that, and then we've written some songs about characters from our area. Like one song on our new album is called John Ware, and it's about a black cowboy that was born a slave in South Carolina. And when slavery was abolished, he took right off out of there, caught a wagon train, went over to Texas and learned to be a cowboy. And then he started driving Longhorns all the way up to Montana. And then he eventually drove them all the way up to Alberta. And he signed on to the Bayou Ranch, which is just south of us. And he became one of Alberta's best loved cowboys. And not only that, he was a really nice guy. Everyone loved him, and they called him the good neighbor. So we wrote a song about him. So.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Do you want to play some of that? I haven't had a musical guest that's actually played live on that. Hasn't happened yet. So you're my first in 6.5 years.
Well, then we're the best.
You're the best. You're the best.
The best you've had in
Obviously.
6 years.
That's right.
Okay, this is John Ware then.
Fix up the car.
Son of a slave, born in Carolina, owned by the man since he came to be. Freedom came one day to Carolina, headed west to build his destiny. Caught a wagon train, bound for Texas. Life of a cowboy filled his dreams. Now he's moving longhorns north to Montana. A good horse on the range for every dream. Ooh, on the wings of an eagle, free from the prison of the cotton fields. Tall in the saddle, singing to the cattle. He rode that trail right into history. That rugged trail led him to Alberta. Worked on the bayou in 1882. Rough riding cowhand, South Carolina. Gentleman and friend to all he knew. On the wings of an eagle, free from the prison of the cotton fields. Tall in the saddle, singing to the cattle. Rode that trail right into history. No stranger to toil, days without end, feeling helpless down to his bones. Now that he's free, he smiles at the world. This land of life for his own. Legend carries on. And his bride, Billy out in Calgary, asked for him on Christmas Eve. Through the hard times, they had each other. Simple life was all they'd ever need. Ooh, on the wings of an eagle, free from the prison of the cotton fields. Tall in the saddle, singing to the cattle. Rode that trail right in history. John Ware was a living legacy. Forever in this world, he was free. He'll always be free.
Oh, yay. Oh. Oh, I love it. I love it. And no pick and no auto tuning. Oh my goodness, that was so good. Oh, what a beautiful song. Wow, wow, wow. Oh man, for people who have not heard your music before, again, I just want to encourage folks to You guys are so much fun. You have a great energy about you. And just Johnny on the spot singing and playing just shows your level of professionalism. And also, I think just that real connection through music. I love it. You're so talented, so talented. So I'm so glad that you got yourselves out of your fear.
Yeah.
Because wow, if you'd have stayed stuck, all of this stuff wouldn't have manifested and be shared.
Yeah.
I'm so cool.
I just give credit to Craig for he's the get out of your comfort zone guy. I'm more
musically
shy.
maybe, but you're get me out of my comfort zone with lots of other things.
Well, okay, then maybe we work together.
Yeah.
That's the magic, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. I think in this day and age, to see people that can actually work really well together as a married couple is something that's a treasure also. When we see so much division, that you guys are really a shining example of how people can come together and not only like create beautiful life, but beautiful music. Can you talk about your life in Canada? You said you live a pretty simple life. What's your community like?
We like the rural communities, obviously. I think, well, we both have grown up on farms and things. We're not grown up on farms, but Craig had a farm. And I don't know, just knowing your neighbors and
sense of community is really big. Yeah. In the Longview area, or even where I used to live in Ontario, I lived right in the middle of an Amish community. And if an Amishman said he'd do something for you, he'd say, well, you're our neighbor. That's like next, like it's God, their family, your neighbors. That, you know what I mean? And that's what it's like in Longview too. Everybody helps everybody. It's a real, when you drive down the street through the main part of Longview, it's like you're the queen, you have to wave at everybody you see,
Yes. It's so much fun. What's the population of Longview about?
300.
Yeah, like 332 or something like that.
Roughly.
Yeah, give or take.
I'm sure you would have been along your musical career. People would have tried to lure you into the metropolises. Were you ever lured? Like, did ever people try to get you to come to Nashville or to move to Calgary or bigger centers?
I think Craig.
Yeah,
went to Nashville or something.
I worked with an artist named John Cowan from Newgrass Revival, and he was based in Nashville, and he always wanted me to move there because they would save so much money flying me down every week to play. And it was like, nah, I'm not. I liked living out in the country.
Right.
And now with all the technology and everything, it's kind of easier to be away from the big centers other than playing live shows. Which is no, it's been a little bit of a shock when we've played in some big cities here in England, and it's kind of crazy. I mean, and driving on the opposite side of the road and manual transmission on the opposite side, different. So anyways, it's an adventure. It's
a grand adventure. And the people who are listening, and again, this Master Your Life show is really about the stretching yourself so that you can see the thing that you want and where you're actually at in your life. And there's a gap between those two things. And so that mastery is really about how do you close the gap. I grew up in a small town, also on a farm. So it's like you're speaking my language. So I grew up in Viking, Alberta. Yes, on a farm.
Oh,
so
nice.
south of town. Yes. Yeah. So farm girl through and through. And one of the things I hear from and I worked in corporate executive coaching. So what I hear from people all the time is, well, what's the difference between being in the city and being in the country? And it's such a huge difference that when people get out of the city into the country, or when they go on holidays, I'll find that people will have that experience where they go, oh, I didn't even realize there was all this stuff in nature that was available for me to heal and to be grounded and to feel whole again. And so that, I think it's like we take it for granted when you grow up in a small town. It's like, but this is like how our life is. And so it's really fun that you bring this through in your music. That must be part of, like, there's a soothing aspect to your music, maybe that is really resonates for people. But what are some of your other songs that are crowd favorites or ones that you like to play most, and why?
Our live shows are pretty fun. We do all kinds of stuff, and we, like I said, we fool around a lot, and we have fun and tell jokes and tell funny stories. And then a lot of times we almost always get an encore, and we do this song that we wrote for our new album. It's actually the title song. It's called Chinook Waltz. And with that album, that song, we tried to really specifically let people know the simple things in our lives that mean something to us. Like, we'll tell them in the song, and when we're talking about it, we'll say, like, simply, like, we heat our house with only wood up until just a couple months ago. We put a little small gas heater in for when we're gone, but mostly we heat with wood. And a simple thing, like in the fall when it starts to get cold, the first time you make your wood start a fire in the wood stove is a wonderful feeling. Like, you're excited. It's like, feel that, look at, you light it and you go, oh, that feels so good. And then I joke and say, well, that feeling goes away after it's like -50 and you have to get up 3 times a night. But still, it's a simple thing. Or sometimes on the ranch where we live, there's like, when the new calves are born, you go see them, and just the face of them is like, that's a simple,
so cute. Yeah,
that's a simple thing that we love. Or our dog, like having a campfire outside and our dog's curled up beside us and it's quiet, except for, like crickets and stuff. And so that song, trying to explain what an evening in the fall is like out there, is one of our favorite songs to do. And it's unbelievable how we look out in the audience and see people crying when we sing that song. It's crazy.
Oh, that is so neat. And so this is a request. Are you willing to do another one? I know it's like mid-afternoon and I don't want to wear your voice out before you have your performance tonight.
Sure, we can do that.
We're off tonight anyway, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Perfect.
I'll have to take my wedding ring off to do this song because it gets caught on the strings.
Oh, quality problems, right?
It's called Chinook Waltz. And something cool for us is that since we've been here, we found out that our new album is nominated for a Juno Award.
Oh, congratulations. That's so exciting.
We had no idea.
Yeah, and it's really important. It's fun. I want people to take advantage of you being there in the UK, because it really is this very cool opportunity to see really, really great music. Right? All right, let's hear it. Chinook Waltz.
Just like they've always done, and like we always will, glowing red in the setting sun, in this life I have found. It's hard to sing. You can see the mighty Rockies silhouette against the sky, a blaze on the other side, the sun goes slipping by. The last raven flying sails off into the west. I guess he's got somewhere to go, but he ain't there yet. Here in this life I have found. good woman's love to hold me tight. Our little pup curled up by the campfire night. A blanket of stars abeam in this life I have found.
Somewhere in the darkness, a coyote calls to the moon. He's joined by a wife, but they stop way too soon. The silence is a precious sound in this life I have found. The first fire of the season in the old wood stove warms you like a mother's love. You're glad for the cold. It's these simple pleasures that I hold so dear, like singing a song that no one can hear. Here in this life I have found. It's the snow on the mountains, the wild Alberta sky, the face of a newborn calf to look in her eye. It's these simple pleasures that I hold so dear, like singing a song when no one can hear. Here in this life I have found. Oh, here in this life we have found.
Okay, you got me. It's like crying like a baby over here. Oh, gone. Honestly, so for people who are regular listeners of the show, they know my awesome father passed away at Christmas time this year, right, just like Boxing Day. And so part of our life, though, really was all these simple pleasures. He was such a, like, just made fires outside in the on the farmyard. We often had, fires outside, and he built a really beautiful fireplace in the house. And when we would come home to visit, he would always, my sister and I, with our kids, he would always build us a fire. And it was just like he was building it for us girls, and our little babes. So it was just lots of things coming up around that. Just so good. Thank you for sharing. You guys are so awesome. I wish I was in the UK so I could come see you. I'd bring you some coffee. So tell me now, on the hard side of life, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in the last 6 or 7 years with your life and the lifestyle that you've chose to live? What's been the difficult things, and how have you overcome them?
The pandemic was obviously really nasty for our career. We had so many tours booked and everything that we've worked really hard to get, and then they were suddenly gone. And just before the pandemic, this is a personal thing. I don't know if you want personal things, but I had just switched doctors. I had a doctor in Okotoks, which is near Longview, kind of. I really liked her, and she was from England, and she moved back here. I think her parents were old or something, so she had to come back. So I was looking for a new doctor, and then I found one in Black Diamond, and it turns out he's a drummer too.
Oh,
He's a cool guy. He has earrings and big beard, shaved head, and I thought, this guy's cool. So I went to him, and then just a routine checkup, like everybody does when you get a new doctor. He said, I hear a funny sound in your heart, a little murmur or something. So he sent me to start going on a million tests, and I had no symptoms whatsoever. And it turns out that I was born with a bicuspid aortic valve, which means the main valve on your heart. Everybody has 3 flaps. I only had 2. And because of that, it worked harder and was getting tired, and it was even swelling up the main artery. And so he sent me to a specialist and all this. And then they said, well, the only thing you can do is replace that valve and a section of your main artery. And it's a risky thing. And if you can either take the risk and do it, or I give you 2 years to be alive. And I was like, let me think about that. So, which was pretty, I didn't feel anything. I was totally fine. I can see doing the operation if you're out of breath all the time or you're feeling sick or something. But for me, it was just like a decision we had to make. And so that was a setback for us to go through that. But
so was that at the same time as the COVID shenanigans?
Just like COVID, when did it hit? March or something? The big time
March. Yes.
Mid-March. It was like a month after his surgery, we had a show booked. And I was thinking, I didn't know if he was ready yet, because it was like, it's a lot of, your breath is gone. Like, he didn't have any breath.
Yeah. And when you're a singer, that's a tough thing. That's a tough thing. Suzanne, when he came home with that news, what did you do? What was your response?
Well, I mean, it's scary, but I thought, okay, I mean, they know what they're doing. You got to trust the doctors, and it's better than having, like, thinking that something's there that could go off at any time, kind of thing, like in the next couple of years. So.
Right. Anyways, yes, because you guys, but the people who are just listening in on the podcast and they haven't seen you yet because they haven't checked out the YouTube channel, you guys are not in your 80s. So you've got a long life ahead of you, and that would have been very shocking.
Yeah, it was pretty tense for me thinking about it, but it
all worked out.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I can't believe what doctors can do.
And they put a bull one in there now. So
how's that changed you, Craig?
He says he's a cowboy at heart now.
Captain Beefheart.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, that was something that happened. It was a major thing. So
yeah, would have been.
But Sue never left my side. She was always with me the whole time, pretty much.
And how important is that in a person's recovery, do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah,
was it okay?
a huge amount.
Was it okay that I was there? Okay. No, I mean, we eat pretty healthy and at home, and then when you're in the hospital, that's one thing I thought, geez, you can't. They put on his file, he's a fussy eater, but I can understand why.
They give you like French fries and hamburgers.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
After you have heart surgery, I was like, is that like smart? Weird for me.
So I bring him food and stuff to the hospital, and then when we got home, like, we live 4 kilometers off the main highway, and it was only a week after, and they said, okay, I think you're good to go home. And I was thinking, are you sure?
Right.
So, but it was.
And the heater wasn't working in our Jeep, and it was minus 40 outside. And I couldn't go in the front where the little bit of heat was because the airbag could kill me if you got in an accident.
Oh, good heavens.
So Sue put me in the back. Plus, we had the furnace, everything shut off at home. And so, like, you get home and the whole house was freezing. I was freezing all the way home, which is an hour and a half. Well, that was an uncomfortable ride that day.
Right. Oh my gosh. I'm like, for all the multiple factors, for people who haven't been in anything under minus 20, it's a completely different thing. Oh,
That's what I
Lord.
say, once you go over -20, and then I think it jumps up again over -40, it's a whole new ball game every time. It's like your beard freezes instantly, outside.
Yeah,
I mean,
eyelashes.
oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, like, your eyelashes completely frozen.
Oh,
If you're
yeah.
wearing glasses, it's like you can't see,
Yeah.
you can't breathe. So that whole inhaling to take in a breath is really hard when it's really, really cold. Yeah, all of those things. Plus, you're holding yourself in tension, which is not a good state for trying to heal things in.
No.
One of the things we encourage people on the show, because we talk lots about health issues, is to the importance of having a partner in your life is key. It's shown in studies worldwide that it's so important to have somebody who has your back when you're unwell. And in longevity studies, it's shown that it isn't the food necessarily that keeps you alive, but the relationships that you have that are so important. So this whole being locked down for 2 years really was much more devastating, I think, than people even realize. So getting out and getting back into playing. One of the things, because 𝙤𝙗𝙩𝙩𝙡𝙚 Sands, who I mentioned at the beginning of the interview, he's also a musician. And so I'd said to him kind of partway through this pandemic that, what I thought would be the most heartbreaking is not performing for people, because there's this reciprocity that happens in performance. That's this back and forth energy that's actually really good mojo and helps you in healing all things, right? So that your heart, your mind, your soul, your spirits, is all of that. And for that to be cut off, so not just the hugging and seeing other people and people's smiling faces, but also this inability to share your gift with the world in an in-person way. Because virtual is very different than being in an audience, right? Yeah.
Just
definitely.
like playing in front of a mirror. We did a couple of them. We didn't like it at all. Virtual.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's different. Obviously, the energy in the room is.
We cheated though. We had our dog in front, so we were singing to her. So that worked.
Yeah, she likes swing music, so that's good.
Whenever we play a swing song, she comes running. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
That was the cute part. She'd come into our videos all the time. You couldn't really see her, but you could hear her ears flapping around.
It's just big floppy
click,
ears.
click.
She always goes.
What kind of pup is she? What kind of dog do you have?
A German short-haired pointer.
Oh, so
They're
cute.
spotty looking
Yes.
hounds.
Bird dog kind of,
That's awesome. And
She comes on the road with us and comes on sometimes on stage, and she'll sit right in between us for the whole show. Sometimes she won't even lay down. She'll just sit there like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
so she's at home too, as long as she's with you guys.
Yeah. She's with Sue's mom right now.
Oh, very nice.
Her grandmother.
The grandma, exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you, you've got through this major health challenge. You've come out the other end feeling pretty good then?
Yeah.
Feeling groovy? Feeling like your energy is back to 100%?
Yeah.
Or is it better? Like you didn't notice that there was anything really wrong, but now with your bull heart.
I feel the same. I feel like totally same. Yeah, except for the bull thing. Yeah.
Was he a blue-eyed boy before and now he's a brown-eyed boy? No.
Oh yeah. Sue said when they took out what's it called, the intubator, the thing, the
breathing tube.
Breathing tube. The first thing I said was, "Well, that was fun."
Yeah. He still had a sense of humor.
That's really good, I think, too, because it's important to have, it's like how you actually heal really is affected by your attitude going in and your attitude, coming out of things, So how much rehab did you have to do, Craig? Did you have to do quite a bit of rehab to reestablish your strength of heart and your lung capacity, or did it just come naturally because you're a singer?
I just started singing, and we went for like walks and stuff at home. At home, there's right out the door, there's a pretty big hill to get up the driveway. And I remember it was like a challenge for me. And I would try it even when Sue's not there, but I had an incentive to keep walking there because there's so many grizzly bears around. It's like, you don't want to go sit on the, get tired and sit on a stump and just rest. You can't. especially, you couldn't run away from a grizzly bear. So,
yeah, it's not, you're not going to get eaten right away.
yeah, you're already almost served up. So it's like,
yeah,
I thought of that a lot. I was like, man, I can hardly walk, let alone run from a grizzly bear. So
we just walk around the house a couple times or whatever. Yeah, that's where you start, and then it's up the driveway a bit, and then we got farther and farther, and then
that's awesome. What a beautiful rehab story. And because people think rehab is really difficult too. It's really encouraging just to hear how it can be very natural. So we've just got a couple of minutes left, like maybe even just 1 minute left. So what I'd like to do is just give you a moment to do a shout out about where people can find you, how they can get a hold of you on social media. And then also if you could just take the show out with a little tune, that'd be great.
Okay, sure.
So they can get a hold of us on Facebook is Over the Moon Music, right, Sue?
Yeah.
And
Instagram
is Over the Moon Music too. And our website's overthemoonband.com.
You're over the moon. So
yeah. So we'll play our first song we ever wrote together, and it's called Over the Moon.
Beautiful.
Thanks. And thanks for having us on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your tour.
Thank you. Bass part. More than the way I love my morning coffee, more than the thrill I get when I drive too fast, that's how I feel, 'cause I'm over the moon. Tell her how you feel about me, Sue.
I'd love to. That's the way I feel when birds are singing, or when I put on a dress and it is just right. It must be love. I'm over the moon.
And when she smiles at me and sings them old cowboy tune,
When she plays for me, my heart goes boom, boom, boom. That's the way we are when we're together. Just as sweethearts from some old-fashioned tune, like Tarzan and Jane, we're swinging over the moon. And when she smiles at me and sings that old cowboy tune, Thanks for me, my heart goes boom, boom, boom.
that's the way we are when we're together. Just as sweethearts from some old-fashioned tune, like Tarzan and Jane, we're swinging over the moon. So hey, diddle,
Tell the cat in the fiddle,
we're jumping right over the moon.
Beautiful. Oh, man. Love it. Love it. Love yourselves. Love each other. Minds your minds. That's all for us. Bye for now.
Thank you for being a part of our program today. Master Your Life is a presentation of Leaha Mattinson Enterprises, Inc. Join us next time on Master Your Life, helping you to discover the very best of you.